just had a good start to camp, and everything's going pretty good so far. So we'll ramp it up a little bit more tomorrow, but just open it up for questions.
You notice as you and the players, just that energy level you bring, and you and John got a little spirit contest going on.
No. He does a great job with that. So we've got a lot of good guys on the defensive side, a lot of good spirit coaches. I think it helps that there's a lot of familiarity with the coaches as far as understanding scheme stuff. So with that, there's a lot of trust, and you can let loose a little bit. So hopefully, the players have a lot of juice too at this time. They're excited.
The first week I've noticed, just especially the linemen, they just seem coming out a lot more agile, a lot more athletic. They seem slimmed down. They almost seem like they're ready for the next exhibition game already. Did obviously things opening up help get them conditioned to train the strength team?
Yeah, I think it really did help. Our strength conditioning team has done a great job with those guys. They've leaned up. Some have lost some weight, and good weight to lose. And, we talk about that fourth quarter rush. That's been a little bit of an emphasis with us throughout the offseason and in, training camp. So you guys are gearing up for that part of it.
Just some situational work that you guys are doing. Tanner Muse has been getting into the mix. Has he opened some eyes?
Yeah, he's done a good job. He plays outside linebacker for us in base personnel. We moved him there. He's got really good speed, very good speed. As you know, in college, that's what showed up for him. So to have an athletic guy like that on the perimeter, and we just got to see how he is when we get the pads on.
This is Tashawn Reed from The Athletic. Kind of on the topic of the linebackers, it seems like you all have been pretty fluid there in terms of which guys are in, depending on which package you're in. Is that something that you hope to carry over into the season, or are you more so trying to lock in on which?
Well, there's great competition there, but we've always said that if guys really practice well and show that they've earned the trust of the coaches, we're going to try to find a package for them. Whether it's a dime package, a nickel package, a big nickel, something where if a guy performs well, try to find different packages for him. So we keep an open mind to that. But obviously we're going to have our core guys that we go with. And but at this stage of this game, everybody's got to be ready to play. You never know what could happen.
Is Nick Moore one of those core guys? What have you seen from Nick so far?
Yeah, I really like Nick. Very sharp. Here's a new system. He's a guy that you come in the building. We're trying to have him even bring other guys along with him. Sitting in a meeting room, taking notes, rewriting the notes. Very important for him to take charge of the defense. And he's in that position where he's able to do that. So, so far so good with him. Really, really enjoy him. Like his leadership and like his, attention to detail playing that position.
Has anything cleared up yet on free safety and slot cornerback?
And nickel? You're talking about nickel and free? We're still, until we get a chance to see him, we've done a lot of walkthrough. Although it's high-tempo walkthrough, we have not really seen full speed. And that's what we're really kind of waiting to see. I think tomorrow we'll amp it up a little bit more. And then once we get pads on, we're hoping some of those things become clearer. But right now, we put a lot of install in the first 2 days, probably at a faster rate than what we've normally done defensively. But it's with the hopes that from now on, from this point on, now they can concentrate on being physical and when we get the pads on and just playing fast.
It could be something either on the field or off the field, but what do you think is the biggest improvement or the biggest difference from Yannick coaching in his rookie year to where he is now?
Who's that? You know what? He is a pro now. He's always been a pro. A meticulous note taker. You wouldn't know that about Yannick. He's in there. Attention to detail. He's a very, very prideful man. And he's always been that part of it. I think what I'm seeing him do more now is he's helping everybody. He's helping younger players. It's very important for us to be a strong unit. Those type of conversations with him. But he's very focused. He knows what he needs to do, and I see him sharing more of those things with some of the younger players.
Go ahead. Can I jump back on about the slot corner? Has there been anything that Nate Hobbs has done to impress you?
I'm sorry I didn't get back to that question, but yeah, the nickel corner now, Hobbs has done really well. I really like Lawson. He's shown up. Amik has done some good things. Again, this is all at the tempo we've been practicing at, but still we keep track of mental errors. Just see our guys playing fast, and Hobbs is the guy that is playing fast. It's almost from day one that he stepped in, so very pleased with his progress.
Gus, good to see you in person. First
Yeah, you too.
Guys like Yannick and Casey and some of the new guys brought in, how much of their impact do you expect, not only on the field, but like you said, kind of bringing young guys along?
Yeah, well, it's great. Guys like Arnett has really spent a lot of time with Casey. And when we brought Casey in, that was one of the conversations we had with him was, not only come in for your skill set, but also to bring that energy and help the younger players. So he's done a great job with that. These guys know what it looks like. And when they're on the field, they're just another set of eyes other than the coaches to share with the players what it looks like. And that's always a good thing in my mind.
That defensive line looks pretty long, lengthy as far as the bodies and different skill sets. Is it going to be more of a situational situation as far as, what units are out there, what rotations are out there?
Right. Mike Mayock and Coach Gruden have done a good job when we, interviewed for this position and we talked it all over. One of the big things we talked about was you can never have enough rushers. That's just kind of our mindset since the time I was at Seattle. And, and if you can come in waves. You got a first group and then get the second group out there. And it's very, very good for morale in the room because everybody knows they're playing and they have an impact on the game. That's extremely important. And they know that they just got to fight, man. And they know if they earn it, we're going to find a way to get them on the field. So I think some of that mindset, as you can see, some of the guys we brought in was geared towards that. But, you got a guy like Hank in there that is so good. You really count on him and his leadership. And, bigger body guys like a Phylon, in the inside. So Solomon Thomas, Q. So I think, but on the edge, you're seeing where now a guy like we drafted with Malcolm, that edge rush, man, you can never have enough of those good rushers.
Obviously, bring a new system. You talked about some of the new players too. How much of your job also is just rebuilding the mindset of some of the guys that have been here? They've been beaten down a little bit the last couple of years.
Well, it was tough last year. Really no off season. So I understand that, when you're trying to put in some new things, that's really tough. Look at our off season. I don't know how many reps we got, but it was a lot and very grateful for that, especially now that you watch them in training camp, how they have some understanding. So that is hard to come back in now as far as their mindset. These guys have been hungry, from the day I walked in, and my understanding is that's how they were last year too. They wanted to learn, they wanted to do well. So it's been very good. I've been very pleased, as well as our staff on their mindset.
Just to piggyback off that, Clee yesterday was asked if the defense feels sort of not necessarily pressure, their shoulder the burden, but to sort of step up to the plate. And
Sure.
he said, we want to be the team that other teams fear. We want to be the reason that we go to the Super Bowl, but it's not just us. It starts from the front office to the coaches to the players. Is there also something where they're not necessarily going to share? They're going to do their role, but this falls on everybody. Is it your job to make sure they understand that a lot of things aren't their fault?
Right. We have, I don't know if we say that, but I know one of our concepts that I've talked about is play. We used to say, hey, play for one another. And I remember a player said, Gus, the way you operate and how you talk to the team, isn't it really play and pull for one another? And it is true. And I think that's what Clee's talking about, that, it's about all of us. We got to go out and play hard, and we got to do it. We're pulling for one another, but we're all in this together. And if it takes two waves to get this rush taken care of in the fourth quarter, that's what it takes. If we need to get bigger based on certain personnel, then we got to get bigger, but it's that type of mentality. But everybody's going to have a role, and everybody's going to be important in this. But, sure, we know we have a job to do, and we know the importance of it. Our job is to get the ball and score, but at least get the ball back to our offense and give them opportunities, to score.
What have you seen from Jonathan Abram as far as coming in with athleticism and intensity and just kind of another focus?
He's done a good job, a very much of a student of the game, a guy that really takes a lot of pride and wants to know. He does not want to make mistakes on the field and wants to understand it so well that he understands all the positions so he can be part of that accountability group, that can hold each other accountable. So I like him. I think we'll get a better feel for how he is. Some of this thing that, I would say just in the past, players that have played in this system, it's the part of repetition, over and over and over, doing the same things to where it becomes muscle memory and the skill set. You utilize it so guys can pick up on it, and then they'll start kind of putting their own personality into the techniques. So, until you go full speed, I think we'll get a better feel for it. But, as of right now, he's done a nice job.
The
lot of players have mentioned things that, such as that you connect well with them on the field and whatnot. Abram included said something to that effect the other day. Is there anything you do off the field that really allows you to connect better with the players?
Well, I think our coaches, we talk about really an ownership and help everybody get better with no personal agenda. I think that's another thing I've learned. We want to help them get better so they get better, not so, we get coaches of the year, just to try to keep it pure like that. So I think if it starts with that, then anytime you see a player in the office, the conversations you had, they open up and kind of share things with you, and I've learned from rookies and veterans, so I think conversations like that just bring in that trust level. And, with communication, it starts with trust. And, that's why I think relationships are so important. Go ahead,
John and Mike have mentioned all the high draft picks in the secondary. Have to get more out of those guys. What's been your plan as far as how you approach those guys? How you get them to reach their potential?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. There is talent back there, but consistency breeds credibility. And if they play consistent, then we're going to start seeing coaches trust them more. And that's what we're working on right now. And I think a guy like Mullen he is consistent. That's one thing I have noticed. Arnett is building consistency. He had a really good day yesterday. Now the challenge for him is to keep stacking those up so he can, build that trust. So I like where he's at right now. We'll take a look at today where he's at. Casey Hayward, I think over the course of time has built that trust. So I think that's what the message is with those corners in the back end is we got to play consistent and continue to do the jobs that the coaches teach you. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but we kind of have to have it done this way for us to be successful, and they've done a great job buying into that part.
Has that applied at all to Corey Littleton as well? Like, I had a little bit of a struggle last year. That wasn't who he was in Los Angeles. Is he getting back on track?
Yeah, again, until we see it. I think Kelly's got a really good job. We looked at him in free agency a couple of years ago, and his 7-on-7, his defending the pass, his skill set, very good. I really like his movement skills. I know Coach Smith and I talked about that. So now it's just all right. Now you're a B gap linebacker or an A gap linebacker in our scheme. How are you versus the run? So that's the big challenge for him. But he's got length, and in our system, some guys that are a little bit lighter, like back in the day, like a Telvin Smith, who was a little bit lighter but fast. Those guys have a place in our system.
Two more guys.
You mentioned finishing in the fourth quarter, and I think one of the big themes of this season is finishing in the back end, second half of the year. Anything you could do now in training camp that might lay the foundation for a better,
Well, we just, we try to take advantage of it. If it's the last period, of practice, hey, we finish. It's this is the fourth quarter. It's the last period. Any, chances we can identify a situation with maybe something that's happening in practice, it's that mindset. Hey, we're in red zone. Give us an inch and we'll protect it. Always, trying to talk to them in those terms about the mindset we need in all these different situations. I think in our philosophy of our defense, it's a precision league. And we need to be very precise in what we do. And because of that, we need to tackle well, we need to zone drop well, and we need to understand situational football very well so that we can continue to play fast. And, that's what we're preaching. And really, with a lot of the number of young guys we have, like Vic, you were saying, the secondary, the corner spots, it's a race to maturity for them. We got to speed everything up and try to get them to act like 6th and 7th year veterans.
Back to your Los Angeles days, somebody that you brought in was Darius Follow-on, kind of one of the more under-talked about defensive linemen. What was the process behind you wanting to bring him into the system?
Well, I give Coach Gruen credit to that. We were sitting there watching film, and he brought up his number and name and said, "Hey, whatever happened to him, that player that you had down there?" And we were talking about him, and then the Mike took a look into it and did some research, and next thing you know, he's here. So Coach Gruen was really the one that brought his name up to us, and then we just evaluated him, and Mike saw where he was at. So he's good. He's got really good initial quickness. He's tough, but he's another one that the consistency part of it. We need to see him just be more consistent.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
y'all doing?
Questions for Tre'von Moehrig?
Tre'von, you guys have been out here in shorts these last 3 days and going back to OTAs. How much are you itching to kind of get the pads on and show what you can do in that realm?
Oh yeah, I feel like everybody's definitely excited. I'm excited. Just kind of getting acclimated, getting used to the speed, getting used to the plays and the coverages. So I think everybody's excited to get out there, put some pads on, and just start going full speed, and see what everybody can do.
Tashawn Reed from The Athletic. I know you went to obviously a Power 5 school and things were handled professionally there, I'm sure, but what's been your biggest adjustment going from the college level to the NFL level? I know it's early, but just so far to this point.
I would just say handling everything, just like a business. Coming here every day, getting here on time early, doing the little things right every day. Trying to stack the chips. You hear everybody talking about stacking the days up, and I think that's just the big thing. Is just always trying to improve in the little things.
Tre'von, LeviNewsRaiders.com, kind of jumping off of that question, what's been the biggest adjustment just kind of off the field from culture, from going from Texas to Las Vegas?
Oh, definitely the heat. Definitely the dry heat out here. But like you said, coming to Vegas, I've loved it here so far. The team's been great. Coaches have been great. But I couldn't been a part of a better team. So.
Anything else, guys?
Just what do you see your role in the defense? Like, what do you think the expectations are on you, and how have you kind of adjusted to what that is?
I think kind of for me, it's just being the best player I can be. Whatever role the coaches want me in, put me in. For me, it's just showing up every day. Like I said, stacking the days and just trying to improve. And when the time comes and my name's called, just go out there and just do what I've been practicing.
That you've kind of gravitated to that have maybe helped you these last few days?
Oh, definitely. John Abrams, Carl Joseph, Dallin Levitt, they've all been with me every step of the way since the draft. I mean, John called me, talked to me right when I got drafted, said, some good things. We're going to be a special team, and I believed it. So they've been with me every step of the way, and I couldn't thank them even more.
Played more of a split safety kind of scheme in college. How's that adjustment to more of a single high safety scheme here kind of going for you?
It's definitely been a good transition. Like you said, at TCU, I played a bunch of different roles, split safety, but I also was able to play in the free safety, play in the post. Now that I'm here, it's a lot more. So they kind of gave me more of a free range to do, show my athleticism and do those kinds of things. So it's been a good transition. I'm enjoying it so far.
What have been your first impressions of Coach Bradley and Coach Miles and the system they have here for you?
Oh man, I can't say enough great things about them already. Just in my short time here, they've just been great role models, great leaders for us. Every time Coach Bradley speaks, Coach Miles speaks, it's all eyes on him. Everybody's focused and is bought in. So to have that presence in the defensive room, I think is super important, and they definitely have that.
How does that compare to playing for Coach P?
Same way. Coach P has always had that presence as well. So every time he spoke, it was kind of the same thing. So I'm just blessed enough to have those coaches in my corner and have the same kind of mentality coaches.
You're joining a defense, obviously, that has taken some criticism the last couple of years, not being as good as the offense, that sort of thing. So, but you come in as a guy that a lot of people are looking at to say, hey, this is one of the guys that's going to help turn things around. How much pressure do you feel on that, and how much does those expectations kind of weigh?
To be honest, for me, like I said earlier, it's just coming up here every day and just working my butt off. Just trying to, like I said, stack the days. And if I do that, my confidence will build, the team's confidence will build, and we'll get to where we want to be. I'm trying not to let the expectations, get in my head, but just go out there and play football and have fun doing it.
All set, guys? All right, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sean Reed from The Athletic. I know earlier this offseason, you talked a lot about wanting to step into that three technique role here. I think they also played you a little bit outside. How do you see that sort of versatility helping you out when it comes to getting on the field once the season starts?
Definitely, yeah. No, I'm really excited to step into that three technique role. You know, it's where I feel like I made my money in college. It's where I feel like I can actually play out with my body type and my quickness and my speed. But yeah, I love it in there, and I'm happy to be back there. But yeah, you know, if the team needs me to play anywhere, I'll be ready to go. You know, I played basically every position in San Fran, and you know, I'll be able to do that here if they need me to on the same defense. So, you know, super happy to be on this team and super excited about this defense.
You've talked a lot about mental health awareness. That's been in the news quite a bit with the Olympians and the tennis player. Have you been paying attention to that, and what are your thoughts about, you know, that subject and what's going on?
Definitely, you know, I pay a lot of attention to that with Naomi Osaka, you know, speaking out, and you know, I think I don't know which exact match she held out of, but for mental health, but you know, and Simone Biles obviously, and for them, they are at the top level of all athletes, and for them to be able to, you know, have that strength and vulnerability to say, hey, I need to take care of myself. You know, that is unbelievable strength and just unbelievable in general. You know, people understand the pressure that's on those athletes. They legit have the weight of the world on their shoulders, especially in an individual sport. So, you know, I feel like it's extremely important, you know, for them to be talking about that on the stage that they're on. And I think it's huge that they're doing that. And I'm just very happy about that and happy to see the positive responses from people and people supporting them, you know. And, you know, all the negative critics and everything that you hear, you know, that's the stigma in mental health that we're fighting. You know, that's what we're fighting every day. You know, that's why we're talking. This is why athletes are talking. People are talking. Psychologists, therapists are all talking because that's the stigma we're fighting because people don't understand that, you know, if it was an ankle injury, we wouldn't be talking about it. But because it's a mental health issue, we're talking about it because people don't understand how serious that can affect an athlete, how serious that can affect a person. So for them to talk about it on the highest stage of the world is so huge, and I'm just very thankful for them talking out, and I stand with them in every way, and I'm very appreciative of you know, their strength and vulnerability. You know, that's a definition of strength, if you ask me.
Solomon, yesterday Cleveland Farrell said that you guys have been going on 2 years of doing off-season training. How much do you two really feed off of each other, not only to improve like off the field, but on the field in that regard?
You know, I love Clee. You know, Clee's fun to play with. You know, had a lot of fun with him last offseason training with him. You know, he's a guy who's very meticulous about his work, very detailed. He's a very talented rusher. He can rush inside, outside. He's versatile, and he also has a great arsenal of rushes. You know, so I love learning from Clee. I love asking him questions, feeding off of him. You know, that's what's great about this whole D-line. You know, we have a lot of talented rushers, guys that can be like, hey, how's my rush? Hey, what do I need to work on? And, you know, you can't ask for that more as a teammate. You know, I can just go to any of our teammates and be like, hey, what do I got to do better? And, you know, we all feed into each other, and we all help each other out, which is why we're going to be such a good defensive line this year.
Willie Ramirez from the Associated Press. I noticed this week that the both offensive line, defensive line, just the first week already seems like everybody's agile. The conditioning, the strength. Gus had said maybe just things being open's made it easier for the off-season training, getting whatever work needs to be done, leaning out. You just talk about that, maybe just coming into camp this year more in shape, more agile, more conditioned.
Definitely, you know, it's been a hard 2 years, you know, with everything going on in the world. And, you know, finally having more of an understanding of everything going on and things being more open and guys being able to train together. You know, I think we're all going to be able to gel together. You know, having a full off season, that helps a lot, bringing that unity, bringing that chemistry, you know, building all of that. You know, and just being able to, you know, come to camp early and just really just set it off right, set the tone off right. You know, the O-line wants to push us, the D-line wants to push O-line, and, you know, really excited about this year.
David said that Gus has brought back somewhat of a brotherhood and love among the unit where everybody seems ready for camp, more together, more bonded. Can you talk on that?
Definitely. You know, one of Gus's biggest messages is keeping it tight, and we mean that in every way. You know, keeping our brotherhood tight, you know, keeping, you know, our technique tight, you know, just our room tight. And, you know, we want to be able to feed off each other. We want to be able to push each other, you know. You know, in our competitiveness, we're competitive for each other, not against each other. We want to push every teammate to be the best teammate he can be for us, because we need everyone ready to go to make the run that we want to run, to make the run we want to run at the end of the year. So, yeah, just, you know, just everyone pushing each other, everyone pulling for each other as well. It's what he preaches, and it's what he's bringing to this room.
So back during, I think it was OTAs or mini camp, you talked about just how excited you were being on the field, just having fun and enjoying it. I know training camp can start to be a grind at some point. Are you still at that level? Are you still feeling excited every rep?
Definitely, I'm a guy who pushes myself to the limit every day, and I'm just happy to be back out there. Watching last year was hard for me, and being away from football was hard for me, and I'm really happy to be back in the locker room. That's my favorite part of the day, just being in the locker room with the guys and talking to different guys, learning about different guys, hearing new perspectives. I really believe the locker room is the most beautiful thing in the world. This is something I have joy in, and just really happy to be playing football again and being in a locker room with a great team and great teammates.
Along those lines, how close is the locker room now to what it was pre-COVID? I mean, is it you guys are back to kind of normal, or is it in that vicinity?
Well, I was with a different team, so I don't know how it was pre-COVID, but from what I could tell, this team's really close. We're a young team, everyone vibes and gels with each other, and we all have this energy around. We're young, we're hungry, and we want to make that push. We want to make that playoff run. We want to win, our conference and go on and on. So, just that, and Coach Gruden and Coach Gus, we're always preaching, get to know your teammates, know your brothers, because through the year, there's a lot of adversity we're gonna go through. Especially if you want to make the run we want to make. You got to be able to have a tight locker room. You got to be able to feed off each other. You got to be able to, have brothers in there you can talk to and get advice from, and leaders in there. So, it's right now we have a great locker room, and I'm excited for us to get closer and closer throughout the year.
There are a lot of new faces on the D-line, yourself and Phylon, and so I'm wondering if those guys you knew them before in the past, or what your impressions were coming in, and have they changed since you've been here?
Yeah. So I knew of Yannick obviously because of the player he is. He's a top rusher in the NFL and always has been. And then I knew Phi because I actually was he was at Arkansas when I was trying to get recruited there, and you saw him around there, and so I just knew them before, and then everyone else in the D-line room, I've gotten really close with, and we have a really great room. We're all talking together, making jokes together, laughing together, and then on the field, it's all serious. We're pushing each other. We want everyone to be the best. Every drill is a competition. That's kind of energy that Coach Marinelli brings. He wants us to push each other in every drill. He wants us to compete in every drill, because that's how he had when he had Sap and Booger. He showed us their drills. Every drill, they're talking to each other, they're pushing each other, they're trying to win against each other. So that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to bring to this D-line, and just feed off that. And it's been fun, to playing with these guys so far.
Solomon, you played with the 49ers. I went to a Super Bowl where that defensive line kind of came at waves, at opposing offenses. It was a 1 through 6, 7 different players that were able to be in that rotation. What kind of camaraderie does that build, and just being okay with not necessarily being a starter as long as you're getting time?
Definitely, the way we played that year in San Fran, we played hard. Everyone ran to the ball. Everyone gave all effort every play. So we needed guys to rotate because guys are going to get tired. The intensity and the effort we played with, you couldn't have guys have 80 snaps and make it out healthy. So we had to have guys rotate, and that's what we want here. We want guys to give it their all every play. We want to run to the ball. We want to have that tenacity, that intensity, because it starts up front. We have to end drives. Late in the game, we have to be able to rush in the fourth quarter. We have to be able to set that tone. So, that's what we're trying to do every day in practice and carry that onto the field, coming up in September.
You guys listening?
Just kind of talking about the close, tight-knit bond that you have in the defensive line. What has Max and Cleveland and guys like Hank, what have they done to really kind of push you and also kind of adjust you into the Raider culture?
They're just getting us up to speed, telling us about Coach Marinelli, how practice goes, and then, just being leaders, pushing us from the field, setting the standard, every play, every drill, in the meeting room, coaching up other guys, showing, we have a defensive line room that's, going to be able to help everyone get better. No one's going to hide information, no one's going to hide knowledge. Guys are pulling for each other. We want each other to all to be the best because we all need to be the best if we want to go where we want to go.
Thank you, Solomon. Questions for Jan?
You've got a chance to see this line group, defensive line group now for a few days of practice with OTAs. what are your first impressions of this group? It seems like a pretty lengthy rotation that's being built here. What are your thoughts on this group?
I would say my thoughts on the group right now is it's a similar feeling to the defensive line group I was a part of in 2017 in Jacksonville. It was just a special energy in the room. You can just tell guys had each other's back, and I feel that with this defensive line group early, you can tell guys want to see each other win and just push each other.
When there's trust and guys are getting playing time, does the pushing of each other become kind of a healthy type of a thing where, you know, you're motivating each other, you're pushing each other, you're challenging each other?
Absolutely. You know, when one guy's doing great on the defensive line, it makes the others have to pick up their pace, and also it just makes you want to become a better teammate. As far as if you have a 3 technique and he's beating his guard all day long, it makes you as a 5 technique want to step up and help him out as well. So overall, that makes all 4 play tremendously well.
Tashawn Reed from The Athletic. I know you gained weight this offseason. I'm sure there were several reasons for that, but was run defense and kind of improving in that area to maybe be a little bit stronger on the edge? Was that something that you did?
I got back with my trainer that I worked with in 2017. I feel like I was more explosive then. And the way we lift, the way we train, it just naturally put weight. I mean, not even weight, it's muscle on me. I wouldn't more so say weight. I'm the same weight, just a better build. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. The run defense question, that's something that's I feel like I've been getting better at each and every year, and this year I plan to improve as well.
In a lot of ways, last year was really unsettled at this time of year for everybody, and you included, with, you know, the contract situation, trades. How good is it to kind of get back to a sense of normalcy for you, and just as far as going to work every day?
Oh, it's a blessing. You know, I haven't been in camp in like 2 years. Just having to hold out, trying to get a deal done in Jacksonville. You know, unfortunately, things didn't work out there, but it's just a blessing to be able to have the camp legs again, camp soreness, and not sitting on the couches, you know, waiting when I'll get a phone call. So.
Yannick, even though you're an established player in this league, has there been anyone in the locker room amongst the coaching staff or the players that really kind of like adjusted you to being a Raider and get you up to speed with the team?
I would say Coach Rob Marinelli. He just he wants me to lead. You know what I mean, and he wants me to be able to direct his group the right way, and I take that on my shoulders, and I'm excited about that. I'm happy to be one of the leaders of this team. That's how I view myself, and I just feel like I was a Raider all along. It just took me a while to get here.
Do you feel any pressure being that guy that they brought in here to get this defense back in order? And is it something that you kind of welcome and accept?
Yeah, definitely. My mom always told me to lead, and like I said, just having that responsibility to be a core guy to help getting this defense moving, I take that with pride, and that's why I try to be the first guy in this building each and every day, just to lead by example, and hopefully it could become contagious.
Do you feel like your career is kind of built up to this point, like you're kind of primed for a breakthrough year?
I just feel like as well as I want to do well so my teammates can do well, you know what I mean? And if I'm playing at the highest level, I can bring guys up with me. And I don't want to just be considered a guy of this D-line. I want the league to recognize us as, yes, that defensive line group is something that you can't mess with. It's a team that has nothing but great effort as far as the defensive line. And I wanted to be viewed like that, and I want to be one of those guys that they talk about.
Yeah, Willie Rivera's with the Associated Press. I believe it was Cleed said that you bring a completely different style than any rusher he's seen. It's more like he looks at you like a running back, the way that you rush. Do you pride yourself in having a unique style and train like that?
I mean, absolutely. You know, I look at a lot of pass rushers that came before me, and guys that are still in the league, like the Vaughns, Khalil Max, and guys like that, and they're in a different category. When people talk about them, they put them in a different category, and I want to put my name in those same categories when you talk about the top edge rushers in this league. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, just the twitchiness and things like that. I feel like that just came over time. I never always had this. It's just been like hard work each and every day trying to get this.
You played under several DCs now. Just talk about your first experience under Gus and what it's like. A lot of the guys have used the word brotherhood that he's instilling, that everybody's for each other.
One thing I love about Gus is I seen him when things were going good, and I seen him when things were going bad. And he was a head coach in 2016 when I was a rookie. And his character is tremendous because he's the same person. If it's good or bad, if it's bad, he's going to take the blame for it. If he's good, he's going to give the defense the credit for it. So that's rare that you find a person like that.
Any early impressions of Alex Leatherwood, the young tackle from Alabama?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I can tell he's going to be a stud.
I like his feet, I like his movement, I like his hands. Also, he looks like a guy that could be versatile. He could play tackle, he could swing down to the guard. He just has the build and the footwork to be able to do that. I love what I'm seeing from him. Absolutely.
When Gus was in here, he was talking about you being a student of the game and taking notes in meetings and just really studying everything. Have you always done that? Has always been important to you, or have you learned to be that?
No, I've always been like that since I was young. Try to be a Rhodes Scholar, try to always be a student of the game. You never have it. When you think you have it, you don't have it, and you can like lose your step. So I'm always trying to be the best person I can be at my job.
You guys all set? All right.
All right. Yep. Appreciate y'all.